This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now it's Tuesday, which means we're doing a top 5 video, and last week I did the top 5 guitars that I regretted getting rid of, seller's remorse if you like. So I thought it was only fitting that this week I tell the opposite side of the story and tell you about the 5 guitars that, I bought, some recent, some not so recent, that for one reason or another I never ended up feeling the love for. So let's get cracking with that, starting with
Ibanez RG550.
Yes, an Ibanez RG550. This was the early 90s, and perhaps I was just a little bit behind the times, who knows, but I was still kind of on that shred kind of wagon, if you like. I was still aspiring to be a shred player. I think I'd just bought the Joe Satriani album, The Extremist, which remains one of my favourite albums to this day. Certainly I think it's one of his best albums, and I still wanted that kind of whole super strat experience with the locking trem and everything, and this was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. Me and locking trems just don't get on. I've just never been able to keep the things maintained, and even get a guitar with a locking trem in tune. You start off by tuning the 6th string with the little thumb wheels down at the bridge, and by the time you've got to the 1st string, they're all out of tune again, and you've got to start all over again, and then you end up right at the end of the travel of the thumb wheel, and you've got to unlock the locking nut and tune up manually, and it was a never-ending quest to get the guitar in tune, and in the end it's all for the sake of the odd 5th fret harmonic that you want to dive bomb and make squealy noises with. Is it really worth the hassle? I decided not. I bought this guitar with high hopes, because it was my first ever Ibanez of this breed. I had a Fender heavy metal Strat, and I think I'd had a Jackson Soloist by this point, and had the same grief with all of them. But I thought, well, who's the brand leader for when it comes to this style of guitar? Who do all the shreddy boys use? And you look at Satriani and Vai and Paul Gilbert and all of those guys, and they were all using Ibanez's, so I thought that's the jobby for me. Turns out it wasn't, so this one was definitely a case of buyer's remorse. Next,
Yamaha Pacifica 512.
Yes, the Yamaha Pacifica 512, not one of the best known Pacifica models. This was after I'd got over my Super Strat kind of fixation, and I wanted something as a backup guitar to my main gigging guitar, which was my Japanese Sonic Blue 60s reissue Strat at the time. My Yamaha wasn't this colour, mine was in black, but this was the only picture I could find of the 512. As I say, it's not a particularly well-known Yamaha model. I tried it in the music shop, and I think it was Williams's Music in Middlesbrough when that was still there. I tried it in the shop, and I was really impressed with it because of this neck joint that you can see here. The top fret access is absolutely unparalleled. It's as good as getting right to the top end of an SG. There's just nothing in the way. You can get right up to the top frets. Unfortunately, the way this is achieved, and I think this was the cause of the problems, is that at the end of the neck there's like some kind of aluminium tongue or something that goes into the furthermost of those 2 screws that you can see there, the ones closest to the trem cavity. And I don't know whether it was that piece of metal in the equation that was the cause of the problem or not, but this guitar had all of the resonance and sustain of a plastic ukulele. Now, I'm just trying to get this picture off the screen, and it doesn't seem to want to go. There we go. We'll get it like that. It had all of the, the resonance and sustain of a plastic ukulele. It was just the deadest sounding guitar ever imaginable. You don't notice these things when you're in the music shop, because it's noisy, and you plug it in and it kind of sounds okay through the amp in the music shop, and you think, yeah, I'll get it home and try it through my rig. And I did, and I faffed around with it and messed around with settings and just kind of fooled around with it for the longest time, trying to get it to sound like I thought it should sound, like me Strat, except with a humbucker in the bridge, and it just never managed it. It was just not a nice guitar at all, and that one hit the road pretty quickly. So let's see what's next.
Harley Benton Fusion Pro.
Yes, the Harley Benton Fusion Pro guitar. Now, I've had two of these. The first one was one that I bought with money that was basically, I was doing a charity fundraising kind of thing. I would buy the guitars, do a video on them, make a little bit of money off the video, and then sell the guitars on and donate the money to charity. That was the way I was working it, and the initial kind of money to buy the guitars came in through a GoFundMe, and I got one of these guitars for the charity and was absolutely knocked out by it. It was incredible, punched well above its weight. You'd pick it up, and if you didn't know anything about Harley Benton, the brand, you would think this is a good, few hundred quid's worth of guitar. This has got to be knocking on close to $1,000 to play a guitar, to have a guitar like this. But that guitar wasn't mine. That belonged to the charity, so it had to go. And I thought, yeah, I'm having one of those, and I bought one for myself. And the same story as with that Yamaha. It was just a dead sounding guitar. You do a big open thrang kind of bottom E chord, and it just went thunk. And there was just no sustain or resonance there at all. And that did, that despite what some people say about the acoustic sound of an electric guitar having no bearing on the plugged-in sound, in this case, it most certainly did. It was a dead sounding guitar that it was just a huge bundle of disappointment, that guitar. So it ended up getting sold, and it just goes to show, two identical guitars, same make, same model, and I suspect this is the same at any price point. One can be magnificent, and the other just won't be, or another one just might not be, let's say. So there you go. That is my story of the Harley Benton Fusion guitars.
Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah, now not so much a guitar this time as a brand. I've owned a few PRSs and had a few through me hands, and one core model and a bunch of SEs, basically. And I've never been able to find anything wrong with any of them. And that is the best thing I can say, really. I just never found myself bonding with a PRS, any of the ones that I've owned. The most recent one, the one that came the closest, was an SE Mira guitar. That was the one that made me think, oh, okay, perhaps. But even then, I found myself picking up, my signature guitar or a Harley Benton or, something that wasn't a PRS. I was playing that. You can see I've got a PRS copy hanging on the back wall there, just in me sort of private time. That was the guitar I was picking up more than I was picking up the actual PRS. I don't know what it is about PRS guitars. I can see why people love them. They are exquisitely built. They are, just marvelously made instruments, and in other people's hands, they sound utterly divine. But I just never find myself wanting to pick one up when I've got one here. So, they end up, kind of heading out the door and going on to a new owner. So, I'm sorry if PRS are a brand of guitars that you love. I just can't feel the love for them, I'm afraid. Next.
Fender Player Stratocaster.
Now, I don't need to show you a picture of the final guitar on the list because I've got it here. Fender Player Series Strat. If you like Strats, this is the guitar for you. It is a beautifully put together guitar. It is everything that you could ever want out of a Stratocaster. and I had a lot of fun playing it the first few days it was here. You know, really enjoying myself, and then it starts to kind of just spend more time on the stand than it does in the hand, so to speak. I don't know what it is. I just think I'm just not that much of a Strat guy these days. And so this isn't really buyer's remorse. This guitar was never really going to be a family pet. This one was always going to be, you know, livestock that was here for business purposes only and was going to get moved on. Yeah, I'm just not that much of a Strat player these days, so this isn't really kind of a disappointing guitar. It's just I bought it to do a few videos with, and it will be going. But I was kind of hoping that maybe it might rekindle my my love affair with Stratocasters, but it hasn't, I'm afraid. It's just something about, even with the bridge pickup going through this tone control here, so you can tame the shrillness of it a little bit. It always just feels a little bit underwhelming when I'm used to kind of flicking to the bridge pickup and having that beastly roar of a humbucker there, and it's just not, you know, because it's a single coil pickup, and you know, if that's what you prefer. Funnily enough, I don't get the same sense of you know, kind of underwhelming disappointment or underpowered from the bridge pickup on a Telecaster. That always seems to have enough roar and bite to kind of satisfy that, to scratch that itch with me, but the bridge pickup on a Strat never seems to. So, you know, if I was going to keep this, which I'm not, it would have to have a humbucker in the bridge, and then, you know, I would probably end up blocking the trem off as well, you know, and I'd be trying to change it into something that I liked, rather than just accepting it for what it is. So there you go. The Player Series Strat. That is the latest guitar that I'm just not feeling the love for, it has to be said. Not the fault of Player Series Strats or this one in particular. It's just I'm not really a Stratocaster lover these days, and that's an end of it, I suppose. So there you go, folks. Those are the 5 guitars that I've bought over the years that, or, you know, brands of guitars in the case of PRS, that I've just never really ended up feeling the love for. Let me know what yours are down in the comments section. It's always fun to read your take on these things. I'm sure you've got 1 or 2 guitars that you just never quite bonded with. Let me know what they are. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you found the video reasonably entertaining. That is, after all, the point of doing this kind of thing. And if you have done so, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not give me a like while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we talk about guitars, we talk about music, we drink beer. A fine time is had by all. It's a fantastic way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Do you want to buy a Strat?